Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tennyson E. Stead, writer and director of Quantum Theory, founding member of 8-Sided Films, here with another 8-Sided blog. And seems like this is the last one we're going to get in before January 1st. So first of all, I want to say Happy New Year to everybody. And thank you for all your support in 2017. And we're excited to hit the ground running in 2018. And I'm hitting this last week of December with a lot of introspection, which tends to be the case for me as I ring out the old year. And I don't celebrate much during the holidays. Mostly I just hole up and work on writing, which I have been this year. I'm working on writing a movie called Making the Gamp, which is a film featuring the character David Allen Rifkin, which you've seen Gerard Marzilleri and I develop on the YouTube channel at youtube.com/8sidedfilms, and it's basically a movie about all the horrible things people do to get films developed, and all the short-term decision-making and the blinders that people put on to the needs of the people around them and the sustainability of what they're doing to try and claim control over the situation and to try and make their stamp on Hollywood. It's really emotionally sort of, it's traumatic. It's a traumatic story, and it involves people hurting each other in really deep and profound ways to move this movie forward and exploiting each other in very aggressive ways. And I'm not sure how the ensemble's going to take it because it's a lot to swallow. And it's a horror movie at the end of the day. It's satire, but it's unflinching and it's honest about its motivations. And those moments where you think it's being silly as an audience member very quickly are revealed to be not nearly as silly as you thought, and maybe a lot more real. And you know, it's a challenge. And that's what I spent, you know, Christmas on. I went and saw Molly's Game, which was wonderful, and a lot of respect for Aaron Sorkin over the years. And clearly he's somebody who, like myself, did a lot of Neil Simon when he was young. It seems pretty clear he's a theater guy, and it was really nice to see somebody like that make the movie they wanted to make with the actors they wanted to make it with, and it was delightful and charming and wonderful and sad and beautiful. It was highly recommended. Highly recommended. Funny, obviously. And that tends to be how I do the holidays. I finish my work for the year that I'm in, and I set my goals for the next year. And one of my friends posted on Facebook a request for stories and anecdotes about the things that we feel proud of over the course of the last year. And that's been really sitting on me this last week or so. Because as I look back at 2017, I can see that I've accomplished a lot. I can see that I've done a lot of things which are good for the community, and frankly, I've done a lot of good work. I think that the play that went up at Theater of Note that I wrote was excellent, and certainly it earned me a lot of relationships to be there in support of it and to have written the play in the first place, and I'm grateful for all of that. And I'm very, very pleased with the work that Gerard and I did on Declassified Project Icarus, which I do think will be the first of many declassified stories we tell with the ensemble, and I think it's, you know, for a one-camera web show, it packs a major wallop in terms of the drama. I think Gerard's performance is, I don't want to say it's the best he's done because I think that's up to him, and yeah, obviously he's done performances I haven't seen, but it's a powerhouse of it. I mean, it's a masterful work from him for sure, and to facilitate that is something that I definitely can look back on and say, yes, you know, that was well achieved. But pride isn't the feeling that I'm feeling. I think I feel grateful, certainly, for the people that I'm working with and for the work that's in front of me. And from there, I think I feel anger and a lot of shame for not having achieved what I want to achieve in Hollywood just yet. And I think I feel frustration, and the good news is that I'm very good at channeling those feelings into my work. So I can turn those feelings into determination relatively easily. That's something I have a lot of practice at. And it's going to be relatively simple matter for me to hit 2018 running with those kinds of feelings running through my system. And at the same time, it's always a little weird for me, you know, in the holidays, and especially this year with so much happening in this country that hurts so many people. And obviously there are even people potentially watching this channel who think those people need to get hurt, and who think those people are deserving of the financial hits that are coming and the civil rights hits that are coming their way as our current administration continues its work. And you know, and so I can't speak for my audience, but it's always been a little weird for me, you know, here in Los Angeles, to sit back and see everybody celebrate as we close out the year, when I know there's so much to be done, when I know there's so much work ahead, and when I know we haven't achieved what we need to achieve collectively. This year, it's been especially strange for me because, you know, I don't think we've earned the celebration. I just don't. I think that, you know, as a civilization, we have come face to face with some of the worst parts of ourselves and some of our worst impulses. We have seen exactly how easily our fear is manipulated. And we've seen how easily we can be made to act against our self-interest when that fear is manipulated, which is, by the way, all very major themes in Making the Gamp. And it's part of why I think the movie's so timely. But it's also the kind of thing that merits, in my opinion, 24/7 vigilance. And I don't know. You know, there's times when I don't feel like part of the community that I'm building. And that's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's human, I think, you know, but I guess, you know, I guess celebration is part of how people remind themselves of what's worth fighting for. You know, I guess celebration is part of how people remind themselves of what they're working towards and what they're struggling for. And I'm not built that way. You know, I'm not fighting for the good times, weirdly. You know what I mean? I'm just fighting for the results. And I don't know. I don't know how that makes me different or, you know, and the other thing is, I'm very well aware that, you know, dealing with the traumatic brain injury and dealing with the everyday aspects of being a disabled person in this culture, I am probably wrestling with some pretty huge and recurring emotional traumas. So it's also possible that, you know, I am ordinarily the kind of person who does take energy from celebration, who can relish in the joy of others. And that's just not who I am right now. I'm not 100% sure which way that needle goes. Either I've always been this way, which I think I have to an extent, or I'm more that person now than I ever was. But for me, this particular time is a time to just focus in on the work. And that work is twofold for me going into 2018. On the one hand, we have a massive promise to realize as an ensemble. We have a lot of potential to bring into the culture things that will encourage people to look at one another more specifically and to look at the world around them as an opportunity to achieve promise as individuals. And making these first 4 movies that we're working on happen is a really big priority. I can't go into too many details, but I'm working with some outside folks on making that as straightforward a process as possible. And again, these are folks I'm very grateful to be working with, and they're smart and interesting, and they're great additions to the community, and I look forward to the day when we've signed all the documents and can talk to everybody about what's going on. And in terms of how that's playing into 2018, I think that we have a stronger plan than we've ever had before, and I think it's a plan that's going to create opportunities for other parts of the independent film community. And so that's going to be work that I have to be constantly on top of, that's going to be work that I have to be constantly maintaining, and it's good work, and I'm grateful for the opportunity, not just on my own behalf, but to make a difference, you know, on a larger scale. So I'm going to be very, very focused on that, and I expect to be doing a fair amount of that work over the next week as well. And in making the GAMP in the meantime, making sure that as we finance these movies, that we're taking, as I keep saying, our actors and our production people to the audience and to the festivals, and making a movie about the unsustainable, short-sighted, abusive practices of Hollywood, and kind of getting to the real root, in my opinion, the real root of where those problems lie, so that we as a community can identify them and address them, and so that audiences who are watching the movie can be more discriminating in what kind of content they support. I think that's really important. I've sort of arrived at a mission statement for making the GAMP, which is, let's show these people how the sausage is made. Let's walk them into the sausage factory, you know, and unflinchingly, let's show them all the parts. And, you know, and on top of that, let's acknowledge that what we're making is a horror movie. That it's opening up traumas for other people to view and experience. And that while there's big comical moments in it and there's laughs, those laughs are not kind of where the movie's going. And the deceptive thing about the film is that it's, you know, going to have David on the cover giving you the guns, or smiling and laughing, or whatever it happens to be, whatever design we arrive at, you know. And people are going to walk into that movie expecting that comedy, and there's no way to avoid that, because it doesn't have a monster and it doesn't have a murderer, you know. But it does have sociopaths, lots of them. And you know, how do you communicate that? I think you just let people fall into it. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting year. Look forward to making this movie. I'm finishing the script this week. So our rough draft will be circulated to some of our actors on or by the 31st. So people can read it as they fly back to LA. And I feel good. I feel good about where I am in the work. Again, there's a lot I would have liked to have accomplished that I haven't accomplished. And at the same time, I don't know how else to do what I'm doing. So one foot in front of the other. And I'm ready to make 2018 the kind of year that this country needs. And I'm ready to make 2018 the kind of year that the enemies of freedom will remember. So, no resolutions. Just the pile of work. And, you know, full steam ahead. Thank you very much for watching. Have yourself a great evening. Happy New Year, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.